Okay, Mumsy, I think we've got another topic.
What's the new topic then?
How did you feel when I first decided that I was going to learn Chinese? Do you remember?
Yes.
You remember why I decided to learn Chinese and what you thought?
It was fairly clear that you were going to do languages because you obviously had an innate ability for learning languages. Mm-hmm. Chinese was a bit of a surprise. It seemed to be a toss-up at that point between Chinese and Arabic because you said you wanted to learn a language that had a different kind of alphabet, a different written form to Roman. I wasn't keen on the idea of Arabic simply for selfish reasons that they were going to send you to spend a year in an Arab-speaking country.
What about spending a year in China, though? Were you worried about that?
No, I thought that would probably be fine and very good for you. But spending a year in some Arab-speaking countries is much more problematic.
But you weren't worried about the conditions in China or safety issues in China?
No.
Because you'd been there before or something?
I'd been there, and I didn't think that if Cambridge University were going to send you somewhere for a year in China, they weren't going to send you to a slum in the middle of wherever. So no, I was never worried about that.
And what did you think about my decision to study Chinese?
I wasn't all that surprised. You always wanted a challenge. When you decided in your last year at school that you were going to do a Russian GCSE. And as far as I can remember, the Russian teacher at school said, "Yes, dear," and patted you on the shoulder. "I'll talk to you some other time." So some other time you went back and talked to her and she said, "Okay, if you really want to do it, I can give you an hour a week."
Yeah.
Tuition. And you said, fine. And you then went on and did all the Russian stuff you needed for the GCSE and did extremely well in the exam. So I knew...
It shows the exam's too easy.
It shows the exam is fairly easy, and it shows that if you have enough commitment to doing something, then you can pass the exam. But it also shows that you had that commitment. And if you had enough commitment to learn Russian alongside your A-levels, then you probably had enough commitment to learn Chinese at university.
Did you ever think I should study a more traditional subject like medicine or engineering or law or something like that?
Certainly not medicine. I don't think you have the empathy to do medicine. I don't think engineering ever reared its head because it wasn't something you were particularly interested in. And you're also moderately cack-handed.
Can't you just study something that's easy to get a job in, though?
I thought for quite a while that you might end up doing law, but a lot of people who do law in this country actually do a degree in something else, and then they do what's called a law conversion course, which is an extra year after you've got your degree. I thought that was a possibility because you're logical.
Maybe it was.
But
you
it
can
didn't
only
happen.
choose one subject, though.
Well, you got hooked on China, didn't you?
And then I studied Chinese.
I do remember you coming home after the first term and you spent your whole time incessantly doing things like this. You know, what are you doing, Chris? I'm writing characters in the air.
Because they were impossible to remember, all of them.
And you'd sit
the whole time.
And you'd sit at the table during dinner and write them with one hand on the table. I remember that clearly. But you were committed enough to do it, so...
And you weren't worried that it was too far away or...
Well, Cambridge or China?
China. Studying Chinese, you have to
go
all the way to China.
I think in this day and age, if you're going to spend 12 hours on a plane, it's not that different to spending 6 hours on a plane. So, no, it didn't worry me that much.
Okay.